In this video, we're going to take a look at basic order of operations, otherwise known as Pemdas. Now, if you ask most people what this would simplify to, this simple expression here, they would look at the time 0 and just assume the answer that would simplify to 0, and that's not true. In algebra, there's an order in which you need to carry out the various operations, and you would actually multiply first, and that would be 0, but then you do addition next. This would actually simplify to 5, and that's what we're going to take a look at in this video. So as I mentioned, in algebra, there's a certain order in which you carry out the various operations. And the way that you can remember that, there's a little mnemonic device called Pemdas. And Pemdas stands for parentheses. You always do parentheses first. Exponents, multiplication and division, and addition and subtraction. Now the multiplication and division are equals. We'll take a look at that, as well as addition and subtraction. Now another way to remember PEMDAS, there's a little saying, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, addition and subtraction. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, PEMDAS. All right, let's do a few examples. This is really easy. So it's very helpful if you write PEMDAS at the top of your paper. In this first example, we don't have any parentheses. We don't have to worry about that. We don't have any exponents. We do have multiplication, and then we have addition and subtraction. I'm going to put a box around these just so you remember that multiplication and division are equals, and so are addition and subtraction. So in this first example, we're going to do multiplication first because it comes before addition and subtraction. And then I'm going to bring everything else down. Now addition and subtraction are equals. So what you do is, whichever one comes first as you're reading it left to right is what you would carry out. So we're going to do 15 plus 20, 35. Bring down our subtract 6. That would simplify to 29. In the next example, we actually have two multiplications and a subtraction. Multiplication comes before subtraction. So what you would do here is whichever multiplication comes first, left to right, we'll do that. We'll drop everything else down. Remember, this symbol means to multiply. And because multiplication comes before subtraction, I'm going to do the multiplication first. That would simplify to 4. Let's do a couple more here. Now in this one, it's a little confusing because you see parentheses. But there's nothing to do inside the parentheses. We just have a 6. What this actually says is, this is 7 plus 2 times 6. This would be 2 times, this is another way of writing 2 times 6. So this would be an easy one to simplify. Multiplication comes before addition. And 7 plus 12 is 19. I would simplify to 19. In the next example, we have a choice of subtraction, division, and multiplication. So no parentheses, no exponents. Now this one, a lot of kids would get wrong. Remember, multiplying and dividing are equals. And we have multiplying and dividing. A lot of kids think that you do, because the M comes first in PEMDAS, you do that before you divide. Well, that's not true. They're equals. You do whichever one comes first as you're reading it left to right. So we would actually do division first in this expression. And 15 divided by 3 is 5. I'm going to bring everything else down. We would do multiplying before we would do our subtraction. And then 20 minus 10 is 10. Let's do a few more of these. So again, you want to write PEMDAS at the top of your paper just to remind you of the order of operation. In this example, number 7, we don't have any parentheses or exponents. We do have multiplication, so we'll do that first. And then we have a choice of addition and subtraction. Remember, these are equals as well. So you don't necessarily do addition first. It's whatever comes first as you're reading it left to right. So a lot of kids would actually get this one wrong as well. They would do this first when, in fact, you want to do this first because it comes first reading it left to right. So 13 minus 7 is 6, and 6 plus 10 is 16. In the next one, we have a choice of division and multiplication. Again, those are equals, so read it left to right. We'll do this first. That would be 9, and then 9 times 9 is 81. Now we finally have some, well, I take that back. On number 9, we do have parentheses, but there's nothing to do inside of the parentheses. This is just 3 times 5. So we have a choice of division, subtraction, multiplication. No parentheses, no exponents. These are equals. So we do have multiplying and dividing. We're going to do division first because we're reading it left to right. 15 divided by 10 would be 15 minus 3 times 5. So we do multiplication before we subtract. And this expression actually simplifies to 0. And the next one, we finally have some parentheses that we're going to have to deal with. So inside the parentheses, we need to do what's in here. We need to carry out that operation. Parentheses is always first. So 2 plus 5 is 7. And then we don't need to bring the parentheses down because we've done everything that was inside there. Next, we do multiplying over adding. And then 6 plus 7 is 13. I think I've got just a couple more here. I'm going to write Pemdas real quickly. So in this one, again, we want to do parentheses first, and we do have something we need to do inside of there. We're going to do 5 minus 1. I don't need to bring the parentheses down because I've carried out all the operations inside. Now I have a choice of subtraction and multiplication. I'm going to multiply first. And then 12 minus 8 is 4. In our last example, we have parentheses, so I'm going to do that first. I don't need to bring them down. Next, we don't have any exponents, no multiplying or dividing. We do have addition and subtraction. Do whichever one comes first, left to right. And that would simplify to 18. I'm thinking I want to do just one more example. I'm going to make this up here. Let's do 3 plus 2 plus 2 times 6. I'm going to write Pemdas. Now we have a lot of things to do inside the parentheses on this example. So we're going to use order of operations to help us inside the parentheses. I have a choice of adding and multiplying. Well, you always do parentheses first, and within the parentheses, we're going to do the multiplication first. Multiplication comes before addition. Now, because I'm not done with what's inside the parentheses, I'm actually going to bring them down. I'm going to finish up with what's inside the parentheses. Now I don't need to bring them down because we've done everything inside the parentheses. And then 3 plus 14 would be 17. So that's it. Real simple. Just take it one step at a time. Remember, PEMDAS, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, and you'll have no problem simplifying expressions.